So last night I discovered these online for sale, and yeah, I got them for $50, which is remarkably cheap as they are. As you can see, they're all pretty festery. So yeah, the Anki, I think it's RPO ones. So the plan is to remove the tyres, which are all gone, and get these blasted and either powder coated or painted white. So the white on the red will look quite smart, and lightweight hopefully at the same time. So you've got 4 of them there, all a bit deteriorated, but hopefully with a bit of love they can come back to life again. But yeah, couldn't say no for $50. Been looking at other ones, and they're right around the $1,500 mark, so quite a bargain. Just down at work here now, got my tyres removed off these rims in the week. So today I'm just going to remove a little bit of the curbing that's on the edge. There's a few grazes on there, something else over there, and then I'm going to get these blasted and powder coated just so I can get rid of all this pitting from the corrosion. Otherwise if I paint over that, it's just going to come back. But yeah, it's quite bad in some areas, but the blasting will get rid of it all. So that's the plan. Got the Nerf gun in at work. Did you bring any bullets? No. So I've just done these 2 wheels. So I'm basically got these sort of things here, and I've got this little sander like this, and just flattening it off. So I work my way down like that, just gradually evening it out, and then I've got these different grits down here to make it smoother. So when these get blasted, it's a nice uniform finish. All this paint will come off, so all this chip stuff won't be here. Just grit it down so it's really visible. There's still a slight mark. So I've got a little flap disc on here. Right, flap disc is done. Now I've got to this sort of Scotch-Brite looking thing, which is the same sort of thing. But yeah, I'm just doing long equal strokes just to spread out where I'm actually grinding, so it's not just a one big pit where I'm grinding out. So I got to my last wheel now. This is probably the worst wheel of them all, as in this sort of thing. So I'm just going to smooth it out once again. There's a bit of a gouge in the side there. So I'm just going to smooth out the best I can without going too overboard, because I don't want to make it go out of balance. Yeah, so it's all good. This one here has come out really well. And these ones are pretty minimal. Just a little bit on the edge there. And this one's a little bit on the edge as well. I've just removed my exhaust pipe, which I think I might have talked to you about in my last video. So it's just a bit too loud for my liking. So I'm going to use my original piece that was out of my other exhaust, which is slightly bigger diameter than what the stock exhaust was. So I'm basically just going to chop this section out and pop this one in, just to quieten it down a bit, because it's pretty drony once it gets up in the revs. So that's the plan, even though it looks all nice like that. It's unfortunately a bit too drony and you can't hear the throttle bodies or anything like that. But yeah, a bit loud. Even on idle it's not too bad, but yeah, when you get up into the higher revs, it's not to my liking. So that's what I'm going to be doing today amongst everything else. Still working on the inside. Just put the interior trims back in on that side for the battery wiring, and I'm actually waiting for a guy to get back to me about my bonnet release, boot release cable, because this is broken off many years ago. and I have to use my key every time to unlock the boat, so it'd be quite handy to have that operating again since I have all the inside trims out. Battery box is, well, not the box, the mount is all pretty much done. So it's all nice and tidy with an AGM battery, so it doesn't have to be in a box. And I'm just toying up the idea with just to have a go straight on like that, or find it in here, have my switch just so I can turn off the battery when I'm not using the car, because I don't use this every day. So that's the plan, but yeah, it's all pretty tiny, bolted through. It's got riv nuts through this area and these points, and these bigger bolts go right through, washers on the bottom. So exhaust's being chopped now. Let's chop this section out, and yeah, just gonna join these up. So I'm basically just going to bolt this piece up in the car and then put this onto it, tack it in place so I know it's straight, and then bring up the rest of the exhaust and tack that back on, then pull it out. Pull it out and weld it. That way this isn't crooked or the wrong angle or anything like that. Bit annoying having to do this again, but oh well. Should sound better at least. Nicely tacked in place, nice and straight. So just going to unbolt the flange up there and the flange at the back and pull it out and weld it. Exhaust is now all done, and I'm just painting it up, putting a few coats of black high heat paint on it, just so it looks all nice and uniform again. And then I'll look at putting it back into the car once it's dry. Hopefully it's a bit quieter or sounding the same as before. So while my front seat is out, I just thought I'd take the opportunity to pull apart where my stereo is, because back in 2005 someone actually broke in the car and ripped the stereo out, and since then the stereo's never actually worked with the key. So it's been pretty frustrating sometimes because you forget to turn it off, but beneficial other times when you can just turn on that without having to have the key. And also the cigarette lighter was not working for like the USB charging, which is weird because I tested it and it's just started working, and I plugged in back into the plug and it works. And I've looked at this like 3 or 4 times in my ownership and it still has never worked. So who even knows? The electronics, eh? But yeah, pretty minimal wires for the stereo, so I've managed to find another wire in there which has worked with the battery, which is this grey one into the red, whereas before both of them were hooked into this blue one with the yellow wire on it, so it's running live all the time. It never ever drained the battery, but yeah, it's just finding it annoying when you turn the car off and you realise the stereo is still going. So that's all rectified, thankfully, and yeah, I'm just going to tidy up this wiring just so I can get ready for cert and looks all tidy, because it's still just labels and tags on it. So I'm just going to tidy it up and yeah, make it presentable if it's pulled apart to be inspected in there. Probably not, I wouldn't imagine so because everything runs, but we'll see. And yeah, so that's fun and games in here. I'm also going to put a new steering wheel on, because this one has a lot of flex in it, especially in the summer. It's just a good old eBay jobby, but has a good feel to it. So yeah, I'm looking at either a Sparco or Momo steering wheel, but yeah, I'm just doing one thing at a time to try and get the costs down, so I'm not outlaying all the costs at one time. Exhaust is all done now too. I've got that new piece in the middle, and the rest of it all just looks the same. So that's another good achievement. It's a bit quieter, which I was wanting, because really this pipe that I pulled out actually has nothing in it, just expands. There's a few little holes, but it's still almost like a straight pipe. So yeah, since being locked down in New Zealand, I thought why not better thing to do than pull apart the bottom end of this engine. As you might have seen a wee while back, my black Corolla blew a bearing. So we're going to pull the sump of this and see what destruction is in, well, what's happened in there. And everything else looks nice and clean in this engine. And believe it or not, it's done nearly 300,000 Ks. Not as clean in there, but yeah, that sort of gives you some sort of indication of how well the rest of the engine is. So yeah, we'll start digging into it, pull the sump off, but I'm going to try and pull it off in this position so none of the bits of bearing fall out and, well, go inside the engine more. Even though it needs to be pulled down, I'd rather just have it in the sump when I pull it out and go from there. I've just got to do up this cover because I pulled it off a while back. Same with this cover of the ITBs. Just take that off so it doesn't fall off, and we'll see how we get on. Still a bit of fluids in here, a bit of oil, not much, but just whatever's been sitting in the sump, because obviously this engine's been sitting for probably coming out a couple of years now. So we'll just wait for it to drain and we'll pull off these sump bolts. Probably just how it is right now, so I can get to them easy, but it's still keeping everything in the bottom. You can see with old CV, obviously ripped and splattered up everything. Here we go, just unseparating it. Just try and do this one hand. See if we can see what we can see. Still stuck on the back side, but hopefully with a bit of levering it should come off. Yeah, we've got some gold in the bottom there. I'm try and drain that oil out and see what's left behind. Yeah, everything else looks pretty clean, so we'll take off that and see what goes, see if there's anything underneath that windage tray. Here we have it. So I'm back to my old video to make sure we're pulling off the right cap, and it's number 3. So we're going to pull this off and see what's under here. Obviously a smashed up bearing or something. That's a nut. Nice if the conrods are still good, because I'm able to use them still. But obviously you'd have to get them measured up. Well, this one in particular, make sure it's still as it should be. Look at that movement. So I might have to put this camera down and try and, oh no, here we go. So that's inside. A few marks on there. But yeah, not much left on that bearing. You can still see them on there, the joints. So obviously it looks like it's spun around the outside as opposed to the inside. So the crank might be still sweet actually. Just won't know until I pull that right out, but that's kind of a good sign. I'd rather have a good crank than a good conrod, because I can easily get another conrod from somewhere else. Just pushing the conrod up so I can get these bearings out. Yeah, very loose and gone. So yeah, it's obviously spun on the outside. So it's, well, it's got the usual wear marks, but I mean this engine's done nearly 300,000 Ks, so you'd expect that, but yeah, look at the shape of that. Pull this one out. This one's feeling thinner. Same thing, all on the outside, all the wear. Inside still, there's no lip at all. So that's it. My camera's going blurry, but yeah, actual crank. There's a bit of wear. So just on close inspection of this journal, you can actually feel quite a lump in the middle. It's not all the way around though, it's only in some areas. So maybe it is toast. Just see what the machinist says when it comes to it. But more than likely, I might just buy another crank because it'll be cheap enough. But yeah, looking at one of these, so they all look pretty good, nice and clean actually. Full amount of Ks. So this blue at 296,000 Ks. Just that one bearing. So yeah, not doing any more with this engine now. Probably the future plan would be to build an engine up for this one, because this one actually smokes a bit as well. I have no idea on the history of the engine. So that is my plan probably. Well, at least use the block anyway and everything else. And I don't know whether I might go to a 16 valve head just to keep it different to this. Because I have a lot of 16 valve stuff there. About 4 heads here I think, plus other parts, and all those boxes are all engine parts, so hopefully we can I don't know, make a bit of a Frankenstein engine, or one that delivers power, or even two of it. Don't know, I'm undecided yet. That's probably the end of this piece of the silver top 20 valve. Still working on this machine, waiting for lockdown to finish. So yeah, I'm just doing little jobs around the place. Thanks for watching.